Issue 2, you will hear about later. Issue 2 is a proposed constitutional amendment that is the Ohio Fair Minimum Wage Amendment, and as Bill Wood said, you will be hearing more about that on November 7th. Issue 3 is a proposed constitutional amendment of Earn and Learn. That is the gambling issue. You will be hearing about that also. Remember, those are proposed Ohio constitutional amendments. Issue 4 is an issue that is also a proposed constitutional amendment. It is entitled Smoke Less Ohio Amendment. This would be an amendment to the Constitution of Ohio to prohibit smoking in enclosed places except in tobacco stores, private residences, or non-public facilities, separate smoking areas in restaurants, most bars, bingo, bowling facilities, separate areas in hotels and nursing homes and racetracks. The amendment would invalidate retroactively any ordinance or local law in effect and would prohibit the future adoption of any ordinance or local law to the extent that it would prevent or prohibit smoking. A majority vote yes would be required for passage of this proposal. This, as I said, is a proposed constitutional amendment. It would prohibit certain smoking in certain areas, but it would allow smoking in a great deal of other areas. Those who argue for this proposal say the amendment allows indoor smoking in a variety of enclosed places, and the amendment would certainly benefit tobacco and hospitality and industries, particularly restaurants and bars. And the amendment would restrain governmental interference into personal choice to smoke. Those who argue against it say this is far too detailed a proposal for an amendment to the Constitution. The Constitution should be a broadly stated set of principles, and this would be too specific to insert in a Constitution. Issue 5 is a proposed law. Issue 5 is called Smoke-Free Workplace Act. It would enact a chapter in the Ohio Revised Code to restrict smoking in places of employment and most places open to the public. It would prohibit, the valid language on this and on issue 4 is the highlights of the proposed insertion of either the amendment or this law. The highlights include prohibit smoking in public places and places of employment, exempt from smoking restrictions certain locations, including private residences, designated smoking rooms in hotels and motels and lodging facilities, designated smoking areas for nursing home residents, and retail tobacco stores. It would authorize uniform statewide minimum standards to protect workers and the public from secondhand smoke. It would allow for the declaration of an establishment or a facility to be in non-smoking. It would require the posting of non-smoking signs where smoking was prohibited, and the Department of Health would regulate this law, and civil fines could be imposed for violations. Those who say vote yes for this say that it would protect the health of people, both employers and people who go to businesses, that secondhand smoke is a health issue for us all in Ohio. So they say that the Surgeon General says that secondhand smoke causes premature death, and this would help to address that issue. It would curtail indoor smoking and secondhand smoke health, and thereby health costs associated with that. And those who argue against passage say the prohibition is far too restrictive, that Ohio benefits from cigarette taxes, and there would be lost revenue from that, as well as from lost revenue if you couldn't smoke in certain establishments, particularly bars and restaurants. And this would not amend the Constitution, but issue 4, if both of these issues pass, issue 4 relates to the Ohio Constitution. And Ohio constitutional issues prevail over over laws. But in addition to that, issue 4 specifically prohibits any non-smoking ordinances beyond what's stated in the constitutional amendment, so it would override issue 5.